Well, one thing for the UI, we could say in the begin at the bottom, and you gonna notice I didn't really ever know how much health I had, and I think there's just too much clutter at the UI, if I'm being honest, and it could be a bit bigger. So I would say maybe make the UI. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, how did Wolfenstein have it? Like, if anything, try to follow that far more closer to the T, if I'm being honest. I mean, granted, I know this is alpha. I see, okay, like, that one's good for the stamina. I actually was able to see that fairly quickly, and same with the grenade counter and whatnot. I feel like having clip, okay, that kind of makes sense, right? Like, 54 left out of the clip. I was like, oh, it's a bit repetitive, but I don't know. Then lives. Or I feel like the score should be somewhere at the top. Or if anything, health should be at the top. Or you know what? You could, like I said, score could. I feel like don't put those. Like everything that's super relevant should be here, right? Like I don't know what that was. It was like floor. I feel like that should be at the top left. Health either at the top or right above him or underneath him, right? And then clip would be like right underneath the gun icon or something. Because like I feel all laid out like this is just too much. I don't know why. For me personally, it's too much. And the keys could be somewhere up here at the top right. That way, when you need to, you don't just have to look here and then have to figure out. You could just instinctively up down. But it all depends how you want to do the layout thing. That's just my personal suggestion. But like, I literally when I looked down, I didn't know which one was my health, and it doesn't help that like it's just text box, and it kind of blends in even if there's. And again, at a glance, no, I was not able to tell. Maybe when I start to learn more, I mean, it makes sense, right? Closer to the health, but I don't know. If anything, I think that would help too. Making them if someone was insistent, I would say make them different colors. Like to me, 100% the score does not need to be here. That is irrelevant information. Especially like to me, it needs to be somewhere else. That one I can't stress enough. That's not relevant information. The floor one maybe to a degree, but that's something that I won't like. When I go down, yeah, it makes sense. Like if you want to still keep healthier, but either like it makes sense. You're like okay, because or if anything, maybe I know the whole Wolfenstein thing, right? But there's a reason certain things have moved back. I mean, good example. Look at Street Fighter V's health and versus bar. There's a reason they changed it from the first one to the second one. I don't think Wolfenstein is in that level of egregiousness, but like this, I think the health needs to be a bit bigger. It's just too small, or it needs to be a different color, like red or something. Or if you want to add a bar to it, I don't know why a bar is just so intuitive. I mean, again, I think I'm talking about in general, but I guess in this case, you have to have the boxes because that's iconic to the thing. But heck, lives, the number of lives, or would that be at the top as like say lives and then the health? I don't know. Regardless, is it just mild things, whatever? I mean, I'm going way into the UI a lot, but the setting, okay, clearly the settings again, settings and graphics needs to get worked on, but we already talked about that. So this is an alpha. But outside of that, impressions, game, sound design, pretty good actually, not too bad. I think the music, I mean, the mixing could be better though. I think the music's a bit too loud, and there's times where it fades in and out, and it's perfectly fine, honestly. Soundtrack wise, I'm a big fan. Fun, like I said, definitely one of the funnest ones I played out of all of them so far. Weapon selection looks good. Yeah, no, I mean, heck, the shotgun feels better here than the rip-off Resident Evil. That's not a contest. I'm trying to think what else. I feel like the pacing could be a bit faster. Like I feel like shift should be run instead of move slow. But that's just because I play Doom, right? Anything else? I'm trying to think of other things. I mean, I think voice acting feels fine. I love the campy, cheesy tone. Story solid. Honestly, I think the stories out of all of them, best story. Honestly, because it gives you the best setup. The fucking John Wick Nazi edition. Clearly there's bugs and things like that. I think the layout's perfect. Classic secrets. Yeah, no. Textures are a bit weird. It definitely feels Unreal Engine as fuck. I don't know what the engine is, but like my guess, this is Unreal Engine 3. That is literally my fucking guess. But I'm looking at the Nvidia. Yeah, no, it does look like there are low requirements. Yeah, the GTX 950. Like I think mine's is very specific, so I would say for my case, ignore it absolutely. Just because I have an Intel B5, because I'm looking at the specs like, oh hell yeah. I mean, the RAM requirements seem a bit much, but the maps are a bit big, and the DirectX 11. But at the end of the day, too, it could also just be because of the it's an alpha. Also, for sure, is yeah, it's a bit. It was being tweaked every now and then, but outside of that, the core game's fun. Now, where do I personally put this? And of course, controller support. Something I'm very interested in. I wouldn't currently wishlist it right now. I'd have to wait for the next. I'd have to see where this goes, right? I'd have to see. My main complaints for sure, obviously, number one is controller support. And for that one, I'm maybe thinking how would it work? Like, would it be aim assist? I'm thinking they need to do the old school way for how like GoldenEye does it. Okay, and make where the bullets kind of go to the enemy if more or less you're on that area. And I notice I want to talk about one enemy design in particular, and that's that enemy with the weakness. I think the weakness is a bit too small. I think it could be. I feel like this should still be damage. I mean, I don't know if it's a lore reason why. Like, okay, yeah, maybe that's the core of the soul. Then okay, cool. Maybe make it a bit bigger, or also make it like give it a bigger hurt box as well. Because even with me playing on mouse, it was kind of hard to hit it, and I noticed that I was hitting earlier and it wasn't doing much. But then if you do add controller support, it'd be really really hard for controllers because I get also adding like aim assist. But me personally, I don't really care too much about aim assist. To me, as long as there's like really solid controller like things, then you can do it, which is really hard. That's a huge ask. But I would say for sure make it like, oh, are they more or less aiming in the area? Make it where like 1 out of 3 bullets hit, and if they can really get it dead center, then you make it closer where like all of the shots hit. Like I said, really, I would say look into GoldenEye's way of how they did auto aim. That's my best suggestion, especially if you're going for an old school game. That would be my suggestion. It's easier to implement, and it's more truth to games of that era, honestly. But that's my personal recommendation, anyways. Outside of that, like it's definitely, like it's funny. Like I here's where I'm at. And by the way, love that they had the Nust touch with the little ding to confirm that's a headshot or a weakness. Like that's perfect. That helped a lot to know. Okay, I'm actually doing damage. That was peak. That if it wasn't for that, I feel like I would have been really lost with that mini boss fight. But there's a lot of things like say if given the state this is, makes me not want to get it. But it's like kind of one of those games I would say like out of all the games, even maybe ones, yeah, I would wish list it, but it's not something I would be eager to get, and I would get at a much lower price because of the fact that this is very inconvenient to me. I don't put, like I said, my arm was being weird. Like I said, I'm not in a setup to play mouse and keyboard. My hand fell asleep and got a bit of carpal tunnel. Like it's very uncomfortable. I would only play this in short periods and bursts. And if it had like a multiplayer mode or co, I mean, I don't see it having co-op. But like, oh no, this is just out of all of them, I think probably one of the funnest. Like it's definitely super super fun. I mean, see, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could have just been tweaking with the controller support on my end. It was just not working for me. I don't know what that was. But being able to just plug and play, go, have no issues, like I can't stress it enough. That is something that I always, pet peeve. But yeah, no, it's super fun. Clearly a shit ton of charm. Obviously it still has a lot left to go. Like I said, UI definitely could be mainly the main UI. Everything else was pretty fine for the most part. I don't even mind too much. Like literally everything else to me, if it stayed the same, I wouldn't care that much because the core game is just so much fun. But controller support, settings could, like I said, give me choices between FPSs and lock it, and like I said, controller support, settings, the UI. I'm trying to think, was there anything else that really bothered me or I can think of that I could complain? Not really, honestly. But it feels great, like I said. And I'll go, oh, obviously optimization. At the end of the day, I can say optimization, but there's only so much you can really do, especially for someone using a B5. Like, as much unique scenario. But if anything, it makes it more where any issues that are there get exacerbated more. And one thing for sure that was there was the frame pacing was not quite, and that's a lot harder to solve. I mean, one thing I'm thinking is because of the new assets, but I would still get pop things here and there. I mean, go check out, there's plenty of other dev videos, right, you guys? I mean, one example that I've seen that I want to think about implementing for certain things, but I don't want to make it as a crutch where they put all the, like, they put a loading room and they put all the assets that are going to be in there in front of you, but they just put a black screen. And then once the loading is, quote, over, it gets rid of those, or you get put in a separate room, and then okay, that way you don't have as bad a stutter because it's not new items. Everything when it was loading. I don't know. It's weird to explain for you guys. Like I said, basically it does load. It loads everything that's gonna be in there, enemies, everything included. But they're not interacting with you or anything. You're just like the camera or whatever set in there. All the things are in there, and the screen's black, and it puts the loading screen. It's already loaded, but it's just doing it enough to where it lets all the hitching and everything go through, and then the preloading too, for like the assets, and then after that it like either teleports you to a new room or it just makes it disappear altogether or moves it somewhere else, whatever the solution is. But the main thing is that part of what hitching happens sometimes is because of shader compilations, right? And instead of having to wait someone for a shader compilation, all that is just let's just put all the items, or a combination of both, right? There's other several solutions to it, but I feel like something like that might help a lot with this, like a lot, but it won't fix everything. As I said, the frame pacing, and even then when I was enemies that I was introduced to, like I would still get that. So these would be some ideas to help mitigate, but that wouldn't completely solve it. So who knows? He might already be implementing that as far as I know. But again, and even then, like I said, it's an alpha. I think it's just par for the course, you know and just getting way too into it as an indie dev. But game's fun. Like I said, I would say not current wish list. Like I said, it's very fun because I really want to like play more. Like honestly, I feel like it's the most addicting out of all the, like this one is kind of like, oh no, I'm down. I want to play more. But it's just very comfortable. I'm not gonna lie, after a while, like, oh man, my finger's kind of killing me, and it's like, okay, I can wait. And again, always price, whatnot. But it's yeah, it's fun. I definitely recommend it. I think more so if you're already a PC player, this is definitely an easier pill to swallow. If you are a controller, 100% wait. I think that's the best way to put it. Is like even if it doesn't have the best controller support, like, oh, okay, I play it mouse and keyboard, but it's something I would play. I wouldn't go out of my way, and it's like, okay, I have a spare day. It's just one of those games, right? Like probably second, not mid third tier, and even that I'd say top third tier because it's just so fun. At the end of the day, and that's what matters. Same like the other ones, it's just fun, and that's really what matters. And if anything, this is the funnest one. It's funny how I think this is the funnest one, but it has what I would say probably the most issues. But I think it's also the most in alpha. So again, it's good to try to reiterate what my issues with it and everything are, and suggestions, not just blindly saying stuff, but also very clearly knowing there's still a lot of work in progress, right? But with that being said, remember everybody, every day is great when you're chibi, and off to the next demo.